the national as well as the full anthem. Let's have a seat as we put our hands together for the nation's best university of technology. I think we'll put our hands together. For the opening prayer, I call on Professor Fumilola Omoya. Please let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you. All the glory and adoration. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your compassion. Thank you, Father King of Glory, for bringing us together here this morning. Thank you, Father King of Glory, for the College of Health Sciences. Thank you for the faculty, the basic medical science. We exalt your holy name for all the students, and we exalt your holy name also for all the participants of this conference. Thank you for our guest speaker that you made to arrive here safely. We give you glory for the university as a community. We pray, Father King of Glory, as we commence this program, that you commence with us in Jesus' name. And every activity shall be controlled by you in Jesus' name. And at the end, Father King of Glory, success shall be recorded in the mighty. Thank you very much, ma'am. I want to welcome and bring to the top table the Provost of the College of Health, Professor Victor Ukwaya. You're welcome, sir. And the Dean, School of Basic Medical Sciences, Professor Akim Lawal. You're welcome, sir. And of course, to the top table, I want to bring our guest speaker for today's conference, Professor Ebenezer Farombi. He is a professor of biochemistry and molecular toxicology from the Department of Biochemistry, University of Ibadan. And from all I could see, I saw so many MNS, FSS, and all that. The only one that I picked is FRNC. You are very much welcome, sir. Please, sir, kindly help me to take him to the top table. Without taking much of our time, I want to welcome every staff of the School of Basic Medical Sciences. You are very much welcome. All our participants from different universities, you are very much welcome. You are welcome to the nation's best university of technology. And I believe you will have a very wonderful time. We have welcomed you with the rain. Maybe the sun will shine very soon. You are welcome once again. Thank you very much to that person that clapped. I believe we should clap for ourselves. For the welcome address, I want to bring up the chairman, and that's Dr. JJ.
The Vice Chancellor, represented by the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Academics, Professor Titi, our guest speaker, Professor Farombi, the Dean and the Provost of the College, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It is with great pleasure and profound gratitude that I welcome you all to this year's conference of Biomedical Research. On behalf of the local organizing committee, I extend a very warm welcome to each of you. Whether you have traveled from near or far, or are joining us virtually, this gathering marks a significant moment in our collective pursuit of scientific discovery. In our collective pursuit of scientific discovery, innovation and collaboration in the field and students, we are united by a common goal to advance knowledge that improve health outcomes and enhance quality of life for communities around the world. The theme of this year's conference, From Bench to Bedside, Translating Basic Research into Clinical Impact, reflects the urgent need to align cutting-edge research with real-world application, especially in times where global health systems are being tested like never before. We are honored to host a distinguished lineup of keynote speakers, panelists, and presenters whose work continues to shape the future of our medical science. From groundbreaking discovery to translational research, from policy discussion to ethical consideration, this conference promises to be a rich platform for knowledge sharing, networking, and collaboration. I would like to sincerely thank all our sponsors, partners, and volunteers who have worked tirelessly to make this event possible. A special appreciation goes to the Scientific Committee for creating an outstanding program, and to every member of LOC whose dedication and teamwork have brought us here today. The university management for their support, especially Madam Vice Chancellor, Professor Adenike Olajuji. As we begin this exciting journey over the next few days, I encourage each of you to actively participate, ask questions, share insights, and explore opportunity for collaboration. Let this conference not only inform, but also inspire. Once again, welcome to the first SBMS Fuller Conference of Biomedical Research. Together, let us advance science, transform lives, and build a healthier future for all. Thank you, and enjoy the conference.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I want to bring up for his address the Dean School of Basic Medical Sciences, Professor Akin Lawal.
The Madam Vice Chancellor, Professor DG, ably represented by our Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, Professor T.T. Amos, members of the University Management, our distinguished guest lecturer, Deputy Vice Chancellor Academics and Development, the Provost, College of Health Sciences, the registrars and other principal officers of the university, our special guests of honor and invited guests, deans, director of all schools, the head of department and unit, my honored colleagues, scholars, students, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, great Futurian. Great Futurian. It is with immense gratitude and professional fulfillment that I welcome you to the first conference of biomedical research organized by the School of Basic Medical Science, Federal University of Technology, Akure. The theme of this year's program is From Bench to Bedside, translating basic science research into clinical impact. This theme could not be more timely or more significant as we navigate an area marked by unprecedented scientific advancement. We are constantly reminded that the true value of discovery lies not only in knowledge creation, but in its power to transform lives. The gap between the laboratory bench and the patient bedside is one that must be bridged by collaboration, innovation, and an unwavering commitment to evidence-based care. Basic science forms the bedrock of medical breakthrough. Yet, for this discovery to truly make a difference, they must journey through rigorous translation pathways, validated, refined, and applied in real-world clinical settings. This conference is a testament to that journey. It brings together minds across disciplines to share ideas, showcase innovation, and foster partnership that accelerate the movement from research insight to patient care. I applaud the organizing committee for creating a rich program that reflects the diversity and depth of ongoing effort in translational medicine, from molecular biology to public health, from advancement in basic medical research to clinical trials. Every session holds the promise of advancing our collective mission to improve health outcomes. To our keynote speaker, which is my supervisor, my teacher. Please, can you give me a round of applause for him? To our keynote speakers and panelists, thank you for lending your expertise. To our participants, I urge you to engage fully, ask bold questions, and explore new collaborations. Together, we are not just attending a conference, we are building a future where science serves humanity more effectively. In conclusion, I would like to appreciate our Vice Chancellor, Professor Ebenezer, for our exceptional leadership and continued support of research-driven development. Madam VC, your support is a great honor and motivation to us all. I also thank the Deputy Vice Chancellor, the Acting Provost of the College of Health Sciences, all deans, all directors, head of departments and units, all staff and students of SBMS for making it here today. Thank you all, and God bless.
Thank you very much, sir. Please let's sustain the applause for the name SBMS. As I bring up the Provost of the College of Health Sciences, Professor Vio Okwenya, for his opening remark.
The Vice Chancellor, ably represented by Professor T.T. Amos, a great friend of the college and the school. The Registrar, the Bursar, the Librarian, the Dean, the School of Biomedical Sciences, Professor Ulawa, and all other deans and directors here represented, our distinguished keynote speaker, Professor Ebenezer Farombi, heads of departments, School of Basic Medical Sciences, and other heads of departments here in present, members of staff and students, distinguished guests, conference participants, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor and a deep sense of responsibility that I warmly welcome you all to this fourth School of Basic Medical Sciences Conference of Biomedical Research, only here at our prestigious institution. Permit me to begin by congratulating the Dean, the faculty, and the organizing committee of the School of Basic Medical Sciences for conceiving and executing this timely and important gathering. Indeed, this conference marks a significant milestone in our shared journey toward fostering research excellence and translational relevance in the health sciences. The theme of this maiden conference, From Bench to Bedside, translating basic science research into clinical impact, captures the very essence of what modern biomedical inquiry is all about. It is a clarion call to bridge the often cited gap between laboratory discoveries and tangible improvement in clinical care. In an era where global health challenges are evolving rapidly, our work as scientists, educators, and clinicians must increasingly converge around the goal of evidence-based, patient-centered outcomes. Basic medical sciences, encompassing anatomy, physiology, and biochemistry, remain the bedrock upon which all clinical and therapeutic interventions are built. Yet, the relevance of our bench work will be measured ultimately by its ability to inform diagnosis, enhance treatment, and prevent disease. This is the true spirit of translational research. I am confident that this conference will not only showcase novel scientific contributions, but will also provide a platform for robust interdisciplinary dialogue, drawing connections between molecular mechanisms and patient realities, between cells and communities. As the college, we remain fully committed in supporting high-impact research, strengthening capacity for grant acquisition, and fostering meaningful collaborations, locally and globally, that can drive innovation from our laboratories into our clinics. To our keynote speaker, plenary speakers, panelists, and participants, thank you for honoring this invitation. I urge you all to engage with open minds, ask difficult questions, and above all, nurture partnerships that will endure beyond this event. Once again, I welcome you all to this conference. May it be insightful, impactful, and transformative. Thank you all, and God bless.
Thank you very much, sir. Please, let's sustain the applause to the Global Forces 6. Now I want to bring up the Vice Chancellor of this great citadel of learning, Professor Ebenezer, who today is being ably represented by the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, Professor T.T. Amos, for our address and to declare this conference open.
The Provost, College of Health Sciences, the Dean of Medical Sciences, the guest lecturer of today, Professor Ebenezer, Farombi, colleagues who are here this morning into this, ladies and gentlemen, staff of the protocol offices. On behalf of our Vice Chancellor, I want to welcome every one of us to this first edition of the conference of the school of the Basic Medical Sciences. 2 days ago, we were together and the Vice Chancellor's address was read. However, may I congratulate the school, the Dean, the Provost, the HODs, and NOC Chairman for organizing this conference. I say a big congratulations to everyone who has participated so far in making sure that this conference holds. It is our pleasure as management to see the college metamorphose into a bigger entity with originally one school. Hopefully another school will join the appendage of the college. We are glad to see the work that is going on at the permanent site. Last week, Council went to the site and Council was glad with the progress of work. So may I congratulate again the college and especially our Provost for doing this job. We have also noticed a book of abstract for this conference. May I encourage the school to ensure probably a special edition of the journal such that papers could be selected from this and put into the journal. From our own end, assessment of the abstract is not equated to a journal article. And therefore, I wish every one of us a fruitful deliberation and thank especially our guest lecturer who is going to be speaking to us this morning on the topic from bench to bedside, translating basic scientific research into clinical impact. Thank you for taking time to despite your visitor, sir. We are grateful to have you again. You are no stranger to us, but we note that it is not an easy task visiting you from your base to come to another base of yours. We say thank you indeed. We are grateful. And on that note, I declare therefore this conference open. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please let's extend the address to the Vice Chancellor. Let's to seats. Thank you very much. Now to the meal of the day. I want to bring up the guest lecturer, and before he will give his maybe lecture, let me call it like that, for this conference, his citation will be read by Dr. Oritsoke Okeowo. So, sir, Professor Ebenezer Farombi from the University of Ibadan. Kindly.
Sorry for that. The VC is having another meeting, so we want to quickly take a good photograph before he takes his leave. Let's have it here, sir. Please, we want some members of the participants to join us. Please, kindly join us here. Participants, please. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sirs and ma'ams. We go straight to the citation of the Prof. And then when he comes up, he will talk, even though it is not part of the topic for today. I'm very, very inquisitive about the FRSC. I know it's about those states. This one might not be those states. So I'm very sure he will talk a little about it. Sir, you're welcome, sir.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome again to today's conference. I'm honored to be reading the citation of Professor Ebenezer Farombi. Just as the rapporteur said, FRSC, ATX, FAS, FNSBND, SBMS. Professor Ebenezer Farombi is a professor of biochemistry and molecular toxicology, born in Osun State, Nigeria. He is a fellow of the Royal Society of Chemistry, that is the FRSC UK. He is also a fellow of the Nigerian Academy of Science, FAS, the Fellow Academy of Toxicological Sciences, ATS, that's in the USA, a fellow of the African Academy of Science, FAAS. He holds a PhD degree in biochemistry from the University of Ibadan, where he also began his career as a practical demonstrator in 1988. A graduate assistant in 1989, and rose through the ranks to become a full professor in 2006. He was a postdoctoral fellow at the Department of Biochemistry, University of Liverpool in the UK, and a visiting scientist at the Institute of Food Safety and Toxicology in Copenhagen and the Institute of Environmental and Occupational Medicine, University of Aarhus in Denmark. He is a former head of Biochemistry Department and former dean, Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences of the University of Ibadan. Professor Farombi's research areas over the past 3 decades have been on molecular toxicology, cellular oxidative stress mechanisms, reproductive and environmental toxicology, antioxidant venous biochemistry, neuroceuticals as prophylactic agents, and nutrigenomics, as well as natural product biotechnology. In 2005, he was cited and listed among the top 10 productive researchers in the University of Ibadan. And 10 years later, following the inaugural February 2015 Biomedical ranking of the Nigerian scientists, he was ranked #1 Nigerian scientist. He was also ranked among the top 2% world scientists in the US-based Stanford University World Ranking of Scientists in 2021, in 2022, again in 2023, and again in 2024. He's #1 toxicologist in Nigeria and ranked best scientist in the University of Ibadan by AD Scientist Index in 2022. We are still honored to have him. He is the president of the Forum of Nigerian Toxicologists, FONTOS. As of 2025, he has an H index of 66 and an I-10 index of 243 and 17,463 citations. One of his publications has 1,125 citations as of 2025. Farombi, again, is a very effective, productive, and innovative researcher, a mentor, and a university lecturer of about 36 years. He has supervised more than 120 BSc, 250 MScs, 27 PhD, and 15 postdoctoral students in biochemistry and toxicology, many of whom are now deans, heads of departments, and professors in Nigerian universities and beyond. He is the supervisor of the adult best PhD thesis in the discipline of basic medical sciences within the Nigerian university system during the 2009 assessment by NUC. He has published more than 350 scientific articles in reputable international journals, 20 chapters in books, and given over 100 invited lectures in countries spanning 4 continents of the world. He has received many local and international awards for his contributions to knowledge. He is happily married to a consultant neurologist, and the marriage is blessed with children. Here again, welcome with me, Professor Ebenezer.
Well, the Vice Chancellor, ably represented by the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, who has also stepped out, the Acting Provost of the College of Health Sciences, and the Dean of the Faculty or School of the Basic Medical Sciences, Federal University of Technology, distinguished faculty, students, and ladies and gentlemen. Well, I'm pleased and happy to be here this morning to give this lecture. And as I said a few hours ago at the office of the Vice Chancellor, that one of the reasons why I decided to come and give this lecture is to support and encourage the Dean of the faculty or the school. That is a professional right. Because of what he's doing in the university and being a very young faculty or school, and that it is important to support him, an alumnus of the University of Ibadan, proud alumnus of the University of Ibadan. And he has done excellently well while he was in the University of Ibadan. Lawal came out with the first class, and which is an unusual feat to achieve in biochemistry, especially from the University of Ibadan. And also at the master's level before he ventured into some other programs. And so one is proud of him, and I'm happy when he became, I was happy when he became a professor and when he was also made the dean of the school. Number two, the subject of today is very dear to my heart, and having worked tirelessly for several years in this field and in this area, and it's something that I like to do and to encourage the younger faculty, postgraduate students and young academics to pursue, and not just to conduct any kind of a research, but to do research that will have impact in the society, and the kind of a research that can be translated, for the benefits of the teeming population, and that can also improve the patient's care. So it is important, and I will be speaking diversely, and to address virtually everyone in the faculty, every biomedical researcher that is here, both staff and students, and I'm sure that they will pick one or two things. Well, the lady who, the MC, you now realize FRS is not a road safety. I'm a fellow of the Royal Society of Chemistry of the United Kingdom. I'm proud of that fellowship. I became a fellow in 2010, and my certificate was signed by the late Queen of England. And in 2010, my name was published in the popular British newspaper, The Times. I still have a copy of that newspaper. So it's a prestigious fellowship, and I'm happy, to be part of that. Now, anytime I give a lecture, I try as much as possible to show this slide, so that you know what happens in my laboratory in the University of Ibadan. We are involved in about 3 major areas of studies or research. We are involved in nutrigenomic research, that is involving the screening of phytochemicals for antioxidant and anti-inflammatory activities. And we are involved in a translational medicine or research. We translate basic medical research to clinical application for healthcare, that is from bench to bedside. And the underlying mechanism of action of some of these phytochemicals, we try to explore the molecular and pharmacological mechanism of the phytochemicals and chemopreventives and their role in several diseases, especially cancer. So in case anyone wants to collaborate or anybody wants to do anything, we can assist in these 3 major areas. Now, research is very, very important. It is the core elements of the mission of higher education and the industry. And it is important that academic staff take note of this. Some academic staff, they feel that they are just called to just teach or to give lectures. It's just one. You are not a primary school teacher or a secondary school teacher or a teacher in the College of Education, but you are a university teacher or lecturer, and the three major things are important, that you must do. Teaching is one, and I think the most important for you, for the institution, and for the benefit is the research, especially the kind of a research that you carry out. And the kind of a research that is done in the university determines the status and the quality of these institutions and their contributions which they make to the economy and the society at large. So when you want to rank a particular university, you do university ranking all over the place. Harvard University, MIT, Stanford University, Cornell University, Oxford University, Cambridge University. These are universities that you have the top 10 in the world. You go and look at their research profile, and the research profile of these institutions determine the kind of a thing they do and their worth in the entire world. And research is an elite sport. It's an elite sport and must be driven by excellence. Excellence is important. For you to be able to do good research, quality research, and publish in good journals, not predatory journals, not local journals, not rub my back and rub your back, a kind of a journals for the purpose of a promotion. You just want to be distinguished, you want to do well, then excellence, must be found. You must be an excellent person. So it is important. And as alluded to by the first principal of the University College, Ibadan, Professor Melambi, in 1958, he said that the provision of the teaching for students are very important, and the prosecution of original research, those were the things that they concentrated on as far back as 1958, when University of Ibadan was just, University College, and that is the first principal of the University College. And the legacy we received from university is what we continue to maintain until today. So, what is the role of research in the society? It is very critical and important for societal development. It generates knowledge and provides invaluable information, and also assists the policy makers in the decision making. Now, your research must be impactful. You must carry out a research that is impactful and that affects the society. And in order to do that, collaboration is very important. The issue of people trying to create a niche around themselves and carry out a silos research, that is not the era at this time. The era of a single publication is gone. You write a paper and you are the only author there. In fact, if you present that for promotion in University of Ibadan and you have about 10 or 20, you may be denied promotion. Like somebody was denied a promotion in the Faculty of Agriculture about 2010 or 2009. I was at the Central A&P. They presented about 28 publications, for associate professorship, and out of the 28, about 25, he was the only person, single author, 25 out of 28, and he was working on, fish, treating them with some chemicals, doing biochemical parameters, hematology and that. And the question they ask is that you are the only person who did the hematology, you are the one who did the biochemistry, you are the one that did the histology, you are the statistician, you are the one who did everything, 25. And when they did that, the vice chancellor said that this case should not go, and he was stepped down, and he was banned from applying for promotion for about 3 years. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's a bit fraudulent that you are just the only person who does. So people should collaborate, and collaboration is very important. 2 heads are better than one, and when you are 2, 3, 4, and you are able to do things together, then you are able to actually achieve well. And this should be your strength in the School of Basic Medical Sciences. Many times you don't understand it. Rather than fighting each other, rather than unnecessary rivalry, rather than what I call some kind of a superiority complex that hold no water, amongst people with diverse specialties, it's not going to take you far. Your strengths and diversity should be your strength, and that is actually what you should leverage on in order to be able to prosecute, an excellent research. Wherein you have a pharmacologist, you have an anatomist, you have a biochemist, you have physiologist, you have a medical doctor, you have a clinician, and you come together and you have a problem to solve. The output of that kind of a study is going to be robust than wherein you have one single department or wherein they do the same thing. So leverage on your strength and collaborate. Number two, you must engage in a translating basic research to clinical impact and what is relevant in the industry and in the society. So it is important. That is how you can actually prosecute a good research. You should not be involved in what I call racking research or survival research. Survival research is the kind of research people carry out just for the purpose of a promotion. I want to become lecturer 1. I want to apply to somewhere to become senior lecturer. People fly from one place to the other and they just want to achieve things quickly. You are lecturer 2 here in one university today, and you have only spent 1.5 years, you are not ready, for promotion to be lecturer 1. They advertise to be lecturer 1 in one university they just started in Ekiti, and you go there and become lecturer 1. After that, you spend 1.5 years, they have just established one university in Elisha or in Ondo State here. You move there, within 5 years, you just get that person is a professor. And you ask yourself, how is this movement here and there? And when you look at that, people like that, they don't make any impact in the society. Your contributions will add no value to anybody. The publications are just mere useless publications. Publication 1 does not relate to publication 5. 5 is not connected to 7. 7 is not connected to 10. There is no trend. There is no focus. You cannot plot a graph about their research. You cannot say this person is an expert in this area. This is the research focus of this person. He just collects, papers here and there. Today, a paper in immunology, another paper in medicine, another paper in pathology, one paper in human nutrition. You just find out that what exactly are you doing? So, and when you want to become professor and you have a very, very sound and critical assessor, you may fail. You may say you have 100 publications. By the time they sum up the publications, everything for what you apply for, it will not be more than 10 or 15. And they say you are not qualified. So it is important to do this properly and not carry out a survival research, but to carry out a research that actually has a meaning and something that can be translated to something that is a significant and for you. So now, biomedical research. What is a biomedical research? Is the area of the science that is devoted to the study and processes of life, the prevention and treatment of the diseases, and the genetic and environmental factors as they relate to diseases and health. So this is more or less a biomedical faculty. All right. Everybody here, you do one research or the other, and it's very fine and very beautiful. I've led this type of a faculty before, from 2010 to 2014 at the University of Ibadan. So I'm familiar with this faculty and what you are capable of doing and achieving, which is very good. That is about medical research. And there are a number of benefits and their contribution to human health in the treatment of heart disease, treatment of cancer, treatment of diabetes, vaccines, production, and all sorts of things. You will find biomedical researchers at the center of all these achievements. And I want everybody to listen attentively and carefully today so that you'll be able to appreciate and understand the role or the works of a biomedical researcher and basic science, and why they call it the basic science, and why it's a very, very important and superior to so many other things, because it is on that fulcrum that other kind of sciences they build on. It is on that kind of a foundation that, for instance, the clinical sciences rely without the basic science and biomedical research, there will be nothing like a clinical science. And I'm going to talk more, about that so that we'll be able to understand what we're talking about. So when it comes to this, the core value of basic science, it has application in medicine, direct application in medicine, in food industry, in criminal forensics, for the growth of the economy, and so many other things. These are some of the things you see about the basic science. For instance, the vaccine, the production, you will see the involvement of the basic science there. All right, in terms of the longevity, all right, the basic science has contributed significantly, to longevity and length of days in various parts of the world. And you see some examples of benefits of the basic science. And I've planted and I've done it. You see this compound platin or cisplatin. Cisplatin is an anti-cancer drug. All right, it was discovered while they were studying the effect of electrical field on bacteria. Can you imagine? So you see the role of the physics. So when I see students nowadays, they are in pursuit of some of these so-called we call cash cow programs, and the neglect of a certain basic science courses. The country is heading towards a jeopardy. And mark my word, it's a matter of a time. If you get to many universities now, especially private universities, hardly will you see any student who wants to do BSc physics. Nobody will do mathematics. I'm in a private university now where I'm helping them and spending the place. In physics, in mathematics, in chemistry, industrial chemistry, even in biochemistry, you may not have more than 2 or 3 students in all those departments. But you will see in a nursing, you will see about the 750, they are more or less, more than half of the students in the university. Medical lab sciences, physiotherapy, they are there in nursing and in medicine. Why? Because of the fact that when the time you finish that course, the job is waiting for you in UK or United States because of a gap. And the Nigerian government is not thinking well because you are just manufacturing raw product, for nations outside and reaping where they have not sown. And they are wiser than us in Nigeria. Of course, they have said in UK several years ago that to train a medical doctor takes several decades and several years. So there is no need to spend money in the United Kingdom or Britain to invest in a medical education. There are ready-made doctors from Nigeria who will come. We only need to polish them and they begin to serve. The same thing for nurses. Is that not at the jeopardy of the nation? And without some of these basic courses like physics, chemistry, mathematics, all right, there is nothing like it's going to fly in nursing, in medicine, or whatever. That is the foundation. So it is important. You can see the contribution of the physics to the discovery of the cisplatin. All right, you can see paclitaxel. Okay, you can see the contribution from the carbon chemistry. You can see MRI. MRI is what you use today in the hospital. You put it inside the machine, it will diagnose and tell us everything about you. It was the effort of a physicist, all right? Nuclear magnetic resonance imaging, and that was what led to the emergence of MRI. You can see the contribution of the basic science and to development today. Now, you will see, I decided to put it. I gave a lecture several years, about 4 or 5 years ago at the University of Ibadan. Ibadan College of Medicine alumni, distinguished the lecture. And I was tracing this. I traced the origin of a Nobel Prize from 1902 till date. And there are several Nobel Prizes in different areas, in chemistry, in literature. There is a Nobel Prize in physiology or medicine. And I found out that since inception, from 1902 till date, about 70% of those who have won Nobel Prize, they were biochemists. I have this slide. Several of them, about 70% of those who have won Nobel Prize in medicine, from the inception till date, they are biochemists, molecular biology. And you see this one, this is just in 2020. All right, at the altar, they discover the hepatitis C virus, and the 3 of them share the prize. At the altar as well, BA Science and Masters and Commerce, and later on MD. Then Michael Alton had BSc in Biological Sciences and PhD in Biochemistry. Charles Rice had BSc in Zoology and PhD in Biochemistry. You can see that. Now that is in 2020. In 2021, David Julius had BSc in Life Sciences at MIT in 1977, PhD in Biochemistry, University of California, Berkeley in 1984. You can see Adam Patapuchian, you have a BSc in Molecular and Cellular and Developmental Biology, all right, UCL in 1990, and PhD in Biology, CIT in 1996. All right, you can see the Nobel Prize in 2024. Okay, Victor Ambros, BSc Biology 75, and PhD in molecular genetics. He was the one who discovered the word RNA. What is it called? mRNA. And you have Gary Ruppy, BSc Molecular Biology 1973, and PhD in Biophysics in 1982. So you can see the role of a basic scientist when it comes to what? To winning a Nobel Prize, and how they have been able to impact the society and impact the world through translational science and through translational research. You can see now the basic science and entrances, they are unable to get there. So many useful innovations, they are lost in this valley, and they never end up in a useful product or an of benefit to the society. You can see it again. You can see the gap here. All right? You can see the basic research, all right, and innovation. This is it. So they just get stuck there. And the question is this. Look at it. We don't always speak the same language, and we don't communicate. You can see here, a basic scientist is here, a clinician is here. Look at the gap between them. In this average, left behind, called the banner of death, neither basic researcher, busy with discoveries, nor physician, busy with patients, are keen to venture there. The fact of the matter is that clinical and basic scientists, they don't really communicate. You understand what we're talking about? The basic researcher is working at the bank, all right? The clinical researcher is busy with in the hospital attending to patients, and they don't communicate. And in between them, you have complexes. You have the inferiority or superiority complexes. I am superior to you. I am better than you. You are the one that should come to me. Why should I come to you? And in the process of that, this one stays there, or I say, I'm not ready to talk to you. That one stays there, I'm not your mate, I'm not ready to talk to you. Then you have what they gap. And a lot of innovations, a lot of what discoveries, they get a match, and that is one of the things that creates what is called the value of death. Rather than for what, for everybody to come together as one, then you find out that they are unable to achieve. And it only happens in Nigeria. I don't know what is wrong. It doesn't happen in a better climate. I remember in 2012 when I was a dean in the faculty, I took the 4 heads of department in the basic medical preclinical departments to University of Chicago Medical School, all right, to like on excursion, to see what happens in the United States, HOD of biochemistry, anatomy, physiology, and pharmacology. And when we got, to Chicago Medical School, all right, we just got to anatomy department. When we got to anatomy department, they gave it another name, cell biology or something, but it's anatomy. By the time I said, produce the staff mix, when they gave me the staff mix, you have about 60% in the department of anatomy here, BSc, MSc, PhD in anatomy. You have some other people, MD, all right, in anatomy and PhD, MD and a PhD in anatomy. So you have about 60 or 50-50 mix of a medical doctors and also basic researchers in anatomy. And immediately I saw that, I just gave the list to the HOD anatomy. I said, do you have this kind of a structure in UR? She was looking at me. I said, look at it, because they said we must come here to learn from them. All right? In University of Ibadan, the only one one person has a PhD in anatomy who is a non-MD, the many of them, they are medically qualified. That cannot be a very good department that is going to have impact. You have one person, BS, MSc, PhD in anatomy, the rest, MBBS, later on MSc. It's not good. It doesn't work. It's when you have a decent mix, it is then that you can have a very good. We went to the department of surgery. You know surgery. I was shocked. The head of the department has a PhD in surgery. He's not even a medical doctor. And that made me to be worried. And as I said, how can somebody who is not a doctor be a head in a surgery? They laugh. They say, look, this is not what we do here. They do a lot of research in surgery. And they have different areas of specialization. It's the turn of this guy to the head of the department. There are hardcore surgeons who will go to the clinics and they cut and they do surgery. But in the department, they do a lot of research that inform what they are going to do. And I look at them and say, see what we have here. So in the University of Chicago Medical School, you will find the same thing in several universities outside, wherein you find a lot of a good mix and a good blend, and they are able to impact, life very well, and they communicate with each other. They are in the same department, so they are able to do research together, and you will not have a disadvantage of a death. So let's begin to consider how to bridge the gap. We need to bridge the gap and address the value of a death. So translational research essentially is it bridges the gap between basic and clinical research. You can see here, right? Basic research, translation to clinical research. So you can see the scientific evidence, the translational researcher is here, clinical application, and via clinical trials, it can then be confirmed. You can see the flow, you can see the graph, and that is how it works. The graph by what? The translational researcher. And the translational researcher, he has understanding of a basic science and also understanding of what? Of a clinical work. And in terms of translational research, there is a convergence of several disciplines. It's not just one discipline. You can see here the role of a medical scientist, clinical researcher, health service researcher, community engaged research is involved, health policy system and practice information is there, artificial intelligence is involved, physics is there, computer simulation, is there, computation. So the basic scientists, as I said, have a key role, to play when it comes, to translational research. And you will see that in clinical medicine relies on the basic science of biochemistry, pathophysiology, and immunology. And that is the truth. Clinical medicine relies on the sciences of biochemistry, pathophysiology, and immunology. Basic medical science provides a rich theoretical basis for medical decisions. Learning about pharmacological, pathophysiological mechanisms can also help to design which patients are more likely to benefit from the therapy. Apart from being a researcher, I'm also a product of a history. I've related with the elderly people and old people. I have learned and I have so many things. That is why I'm able to connect. People call me institutional memory at the University of Ibadan. I can tell you what happened in 1955, even though I was not born. I can tell you what happened, in 1960. I can tell you stories and histories about the department because I related with the elderly people. Now, Professor Olumbe Basia, the legendary Olumbe Basia of the biochemistry of a blessed memory, who founded biochemistry department in the University of Ibadan. And that department is the first department in Africa. That is your biochemistry man. Alright? He had a PhD, BSc 1949, University of Liverpool, PhD King's College London 1952. And 1953 he was recruited to University of Ibadan in physiology department where biochemistry was referred to as a physiological sciences to teach biochemistry to medical students. So the biochemistry we have in University of Ibadan is medical biochemistry. And it was in 1962 that is created biochemistry, BSc biochemistry as a program, and now continue. Now, what I'm saying is that Olumbe Basia, because of his intelligence, because of his brilliance, he had honorary degree in medicine. And we have had about Bibo Ochutokun, Professor Oshotokun of the Department of Medicine, maybe you go and look at history, was a great one who worked on ataxia neuropathy. He was one of the people, the first people who started dementia work, in Nigeria, before so many other people started working on that. And you have the people like Professor Detuibi, great physicians, Akipubes and all that. They used to come to meet Professor Lumbe Basia in a small building at the back of biochemistry department every Saturday, 7 a.m. for discussion. You are seeing what I'm saying. The doctors, if they have any case they want to treat or they want to carry out any operation or surgery, before they do that, they want to hear about the preclinical perspective to it, and they will discuss that case 7 a.m. They don't go for OMB, they don't go for any meetings. They do for 7 a.m. on Saturday. They will meet and they will discuss. The outcome of that robust discussion will determine the kind of operation and the treatment they are going to deliver. You can see how our elder fathers started, because they were like the whites and there was nothing like world division among them. That continued. So it is important because they believe, all right, on the role of biochemistry, pathophysiology, all right, in terms of what of the benefits and therapy to patients. So translational medicine or research, clinical research, and that brings about improvement in health. Now, let me share with you some success stories in some of our field of research and those who are working there. All right? You have the success story of a translational medicine. Now, look at this red palm oil, because I'm going to talk in the next few slides on what you call the role of some certain chemopreventive in the management and treatment of various diseases. Most of what the diseases, especially cancer, about 60% have been alluded to what you eat. What you eat is very important. People die of various illnesses because of a bad, dietary lifestyle. And when we changed from our indigenous dietary lifestyle to Western dietary lifestyle, we in Africa, especially in Nigeria, we started to have so many diseases. So it is important, and the time has come to go back to nature and to begin to develop what we have, which can then be translated from the bench, to the patient's care. Now, you have this red palm oil. Most of you young people now, how do you use red palm oil to cook? You want to use a granite oil, to cook, because it's a red palm oil that doesn't taste, and you are what? You are missing a lot. Now, red palm oil contains several things. Several things. You have the tocopherols. You know the importance of the tocopherol. You have the tocotrienol that is present in red palm oil. You have the carotenes and the carotenoids, and the astaxanthins and the xanthophyes and the carotenes that are present in the red palm oil. They are very, very important in the modulation and attenuation of the various diseases. One of them is the tocotrienol, which is important, and you can see this has been translated, all right, into what? Into tocotrienol in terms of a castle, and this has passed a lot of a clinical trial, and it's important. You will find this in the United States, okay? And they took it from what? From us in Nigeria. Malaysia, the world producer of a red palm oil today, came in 1963 to Nigeria to pick the seeds of the red palm oil, and they are the world producer of the red palm oil today. They have refined their own red palm oil, and when you see the red palm oil, it looks like a granite oil. You will not even know that it's a granite oil. The cloudy kind of a stuff you see in our oil, you will not see that again in them. And this is exactly what we are supposed to be doing as Nigeria. You can see this. We demonstrated this several years ago. The antioxidant property of carotenes, especially the alpha carotene, from the red palm oil. This was my first postdoctoral exposure in 1995, all right, in University of Liverpool. And that is where I met the guy from Malaysia who brought their own oil. It was in the laboratory of what? International, carotenoid laboratory. I wanted to work on something else in that particular university, an extension of my PhD. But on getting there, I saw a very big thesis. The person I got defended thesis, Alan Woodall. Alan Woodall is the name. Antioxidants as a carotenoid. While my supervisor or my mentor was looking at what we were going to do, within 2 weeks, I had read the entire thesis of that guy. I had read the thesis actually. So when he called me 2 weeks later, he said, let's discuss about your project. I said, sir, I don't want to work on my project again. I want to work on carotenoid. He said, why? You don't have experience in carotenoid. You are not. I said, that is what I want to work on. He said, they have exhausted many things about carotenoids that where there is an aspect, you are from Nigeria. Do you have a red palm oil? And I didn't want to answer because by fate or providence, I carried 2 bottles of a red palm oil from Nigeria, but for the purpose of a cooking, not for experiment. Just to cook my soup, not for experiment. So when he said, do you have red palm oil? I said, should I sacrifice? Should I tell him yes? So when he said, I just said yes. He said, you have? I said, I have 2 bottles. He said, bring the 2 bottles to the lab tomorrow. That is why I brought the 2 bottles. I couldn't use it. I brought it. And from there, I hit a gold mine. For the first time, this paper, go and look at history. This is the first paper that demonstrated that alpha carotene is superior to beta carotene in terms of what of antioxidant potency and the property. So, because they are so close, the only difference between them is just because of the chemistry. One is a cis and one is a trans, the same structure. And very difficult to isolate. Using thin layer chromatography, you have to use Kiselgo, magnesium oxide Kiselgo to be able to separate alpha carotene from beta carotene. And the spectroscopy at the 450 nanometer, you are able to characterize that and purify that with the HPLC. And what I did then, I reconstituted that in phosphatidine, choline liposome, and I carried out the experiment both in organic solution and also in the phosphatidine choline liposome. And we were able to publish 2 papers, one in food chemistry, the other one in the Redox reports. 2 papers, from the work. And we showed here that alpha carotene is superior to beta carotene from our Nigerian, red oil. Look at this. Calabar bean is serine. That is why they isolated a serine. A serine enabled the German, American, Otto-Louis, and Englishman Sir Henry Dale to identify acetylcholine as cholinergic neurotransmitter. And this research won the Nobel Prize for Medicine in 1936 for the discoveries relating to chemical transmission of impulses. A serine was what was used. Lo and behold, it was isolated from Calabar in our Calabar. And Nigerian government also have not been able to see the importance of this, and that is what to say cholinergic neurotransmitter, a serine. That is the story behind that. In a collaboration, with Professor Takuji Tanaka, during my sojourn in Japan, we were able to isolate the oraptin and ubiletin from the skin of the oranges and the citruses. No wonder when the young man in biochemistry, the guy, was it Adetuli also, who works on the Ademosu, who works on orange peels, was presenting last year at the Polytechnic. I just smiled. I said, wow, this is exactly what we're talking about. The importance of orange peel, because most of the phytochemicals that you get from orange, they are not concentrated in the juice. The juice that you are drinking, that sweet one, is just mere sugar. You are just wasting your time. You are not enjoying because it's sweet. Alright? But the best part of it is actually the peel. But when he asks you to be eating peel because it's bitter, you say, am I a goat? Am I a goat? Why should I be eating it? But the goats are the ones enjoying and benefiting because look at the skin of the goat. Always says shiny. You see black a goat because they eat the skin. This, compound oraptin and ubiletin, fantastic, antioxidant and free radical scavenger and quencher. They are located in the skin of an orange. Now, Curcumin is another one. In turmeric, is a possible agent for translation, and it's something people don't know, but it is very important. The social media is awash with a lot of things. Those people, blogger or whatever, talk about the turmeric. Okay, it is true. They may not know, but those of us who have done the science of it will know the benefits of that. Now, that is what you see. That is what has been translated into curry. The yellow pungent ingredient that you see in curry is attributed to what? To turmeric. And the compound that is isolated from it, the most important and pungent compound, the most pharmacological active compound there is called the curcumin. You can see at the structure here, you have a curcumin, or a capsule which is used as life extensor. You have your original one, and you have it in a various form. Now we have been able to show in terms of a molecular mechanism that curcumin more or less is an inducer of HO1 and NRF2. And NRF2, all right, is a protein that is expressed, that is involved also in the translation or expression of several, phase 2, antioxidant enzyme, including DT diaphorenes, and HO1, and they are important in being able to actually bring about a lot of, cytoprotection. So you can see that, and the gingerol and the sugar oil in ginger, they are also possible agents, for translation. And you can see the important compound. There are 6 gingerol that has anti-inflammatory property, it has antioxidant property, anti-apoptotic and anti-cancer property. Through our method, we have been able to actually find a way of isolating and characterizing 6 gingerol, from ginger, which we use for various things. And you can see some of the papers that we have been able to, publish with the gingerol, especially as relates to colitis and the colorectal cancer that you can see here. Is a compound that can be further developed or has application in water in a clinical practice. You have your bitter leaf here, which is very, very bitter. We have been able to isolate through my former PhD students and collaboration with some guys in South Africa to isolate epivanodalol. And bitter leaf has been shown to have this kind of properties, experimentally, and which is important. This is what the paper that showed the isolation and characterization of that. You also have the phenolic extract, the soybean polyphenols, which is also very relevant in water in the various diseases. Then you also have a popular Garcinia cola, which have been worked on, severally, by several, people has a lot of reactions there, and the colaviron has been characterized and isolated, from the seed, of the bitter cola here. And recently, about 3 years ago, we were able to isolate 4 new compounds which were patented, from bitter cola, apart from the well-touted colaviron that people have worked on. We're able to isolate with glucine, squalene, digitoxin, and cenoeptulose. These 4 compounds have been patented, by us that we isolated from bitter cola. And neuroprotective properties of colaviron, several studies have shown that it has effects, in Alzheimer's disease, in a Parkinson's disease, and also in a frontotemporal dementia. About 400 people about 4,000 people in the United States, they suffer this fate. About 1 million people, in the United States, they suffer, Alzheimer's, disease, and to be able to solve this problem, about 1 billion people out of the entire world, they have a various kind of neurological disorder. And that is why it is important to have like an alternative, solution. Parkinson's disease here for tremor, bradykinesia, and shaking, low dopamine content, in the brain, and all sorts of things. And our several papers have been able to show, that colaviron from, Garcinia cola has an effect all right, and has ability to cross the blood-brain barrier and to be able to provide a solution, to Parkinson and Parkinson-like, disorders. And both in vitro, in a cell culture, and in animal model, we have been able to actually demonstrate this. You have the recent, multidisciplinary experience with experimental, Parkinson's disease, and this paper, the neuroprotective role of the colaviron in a radioinflammation associated with synon-induced Parkinson's disease, and you can see a lot of molecular markers and the signal transduction mechanisms that were employed to be able to justify and to show the therapeutic efficacy of this important compound. It is also very important and has been able to show in the prostate health. We showed recently that it decreases the prostate weight, it reduces oxidative stress, it reduces 5-alpha reductase and dihydrotestosterone, which is very, very inimical to the prostate. All right, it reduces inflammation. All right, the COX-2, prostaglandin E2, lipooxygenase, LB4, and inducible nitric oxide synthase. All right, it promotes apoptosis in PPA, and it also reduces angiogenesis. These are the molecular sequence that we prosecuted to show the compounds in the beta cola that have been able to do that. It's also very relevant in a viral infection. We reported for the very first time that prevented influenza virus infection in Babsi mice. One of my PhD students did that, and that is the PhD award that received the best PhD thesis in the University of Ibadan 2018. All right, and several papers have been published from that, and it could be explored, clinically as anti-influenza in immunomodulatory regimen. Especially, we recommend you during the influenza virus, outbreak. Therefore, colaviron may also be relevant in the management of other viral-related illnesses, including COVID-19. And these are some of the papers, to show that, and this other one, and this one that we, recently are reported. So, as I try to close, I like to say that in order to be able to engage in effective translational research, it is important that we invest in the staff. And that is where I expect your Vice Chancellor, management, and your provost, and everybody to be around to be able to help the faculty. Training of the staff. Institutional framework for capacity building is very, very important. You need to invest in exposing young people for training. All right, organize programs like this kind of a conference you have organized, very fantastic and impactful, and for people to participate in workshop is a building capacity, all right, in this area, and support further training, and also here there is a need to support higher postgraduate degrees. Okay, you have people that should be encouraged to do MD PhD track, MSc PhD track. All right, and postdoctoral research and training abroad is a sacrosanct. If you want to be an effective translator, if you want to be an effective researcher, you don't want to be a local champion. Okay, you just get a BSc footer, MSc footer, PhD footer, lecturer footer, lecturer 2 footer, lecturer 1 footer, senior lecturer footer, senior professor footer, everything footer. You are just a career-based person. Somebody says hallelujah. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, or you train in Ekiti, or you train in Ibadan, BSc, MSc, PhD Ibadan. You don't just do that. It's good to have that, but you should travel. You should be exposed. You should move around. All right? I did all my degrees in University of Ibadan, BSc, MSc, PhD in Ibadan. But from that day, September 1995, when I got a PhD, immediately I checked out of Ibadan. I moved to England. From England, I moved to America, I moved to Japan, I moved to China, Thailand, name it, all the 6 continents of the world I've been there. And I did postdoctoral training in 5 world lab laboratories. 5. I did 5 postdoctoral training, not just 1. So when you then come back to a country like this, you are coming back with a rich experience to be able. There is no way. 6 months, 3 months, 6 months abroad, and you come back, you can never remain the same. Your perception will be different. Your approach to issues will be different. The way you do research will be different. The way you conduct things will be different because exposure is very important. And I don't encourage young people to japa. Because I'm speaking to PhD students, don't just go and play second fiddle in United States or in America or UK. Say you want to go and stay there and work. You can never be that relevant. You will be doing what belongs to them. You can go there, acquire the training, and return. Those of us that you see here is not because we didn't have opportunities to stay there. Coincidentally, there is nowhere I work there that have not been offered job. I did first postdoc in Liverpool. By the time I finished, I was offered a job in the University of Manchester in 1996 when I finished. I rejected it. People say I was mad. That was the second or third round of a JAPA in Nigeria during the Abacha period when it was bad. ASU was on strike. At that particular time, they were throwing the properties of lecturers from their quarter. Abacha said we should pack up. And they said, is that time you want to return to Nigeria? I returned to Nigeria. I wasn't mad. I still went back. I was given job in Copenhagen, in Panam Institute of Pharmacology. I turned it down. I was given job in South Korea by Professor Yeon Jun Seo. I turned it down. I came back. I was to work, all right, in the Chicago Medical School. Rather than that, I went to Osun State University, to pay, to help them, and to build capacity in that university. But I don't have any regret for it today. No regrets, all right? I may not be rich, but I'm not poor. And when you are good, you understand, you have access to money. Because when you are good, money will come. All my needs are met. And there is nothing anybody has come to do in the world that I have not achieved, that I have not done. I'm courtesy of biochemistry and stay in Nigeria. So try and see what you can do, for this country. Make your research output visible. Publish in recognized international journals. Avoid predatory journals, cash and carry. It can only help you temporarily to achieve promotion to senior lecturer. When they send your papers out, the whole thing will be exposed. So don't do that. Publish in journals with what? With impact factor, be visible in Google Scholar, in Scopus, Web of Science, ResearchGate. Be relevant there, be found there, be visible there. That is what will bring about invitation to all these places. By the time you want to go for postdoc and you are competing with people from China, you are competing with people from Japan, from Korea, these are wizards. These are young boys and girls that have been trained that can work for 18 hours, not sitting down. And they have papers in Nature, papers in cancer research. So, and you are now, sending paper from Aquarium Journal of Biomedical Science and they will just throw your CV somewhere. Because they will put it, they can't see your papers in a PubMed. It cannot be cited by any. Say, where is this one? They will not even evaluate you because you are competing with the people. So try as much as possible to do that. We need to work together, as I said. Professional rivalry, superiority syndrome, abstain from that. Discipline diversity is a blessing, not a curse. Engage in collaborative and multidisciplinary research. Collaborate and don't compete. Let's work together on a peace project. All right, all cards on the table. All right, nothing is hidden. Don't add something at the back and it's a different thing you are bringing to the table. Be playing. All right, when you are doing that. Reflections and final conclusion. Basic science is the foundation of medical advancement. Rigorous basic science research ensures high-quality healthcare. Training of academic staff and pursuit of higher postgraduate degrees are necessary drivers of excellent research. I encourage our colleagues who are MBBS holders here. If you want to remain in academics, please go and pursue higher academic degrees. Don't let anybody fool you or say that because you are a medical doctor, you don't need that. It's only going to reduce your efficiency. You need it. It's going to make you better as a person. I know what I'm talking about. You are not doing anybody any favor. Go and pursue it. The likes of the doctor that I talked about, the late B.O. Oshotoku of a blessed memory, all right? If I had a BSc, they were used to do intercalated degree that time. He's a consultant, in a medicine. He had a PhD from Oxford University. Late Professor Akikube of a blessed memory here, the legend in medicine, had a PhD from Oxford University. Adetri, they had a PhD. Professor Akon, the foundation provost of the College of Medicine, professor of obstetrics and gynecology, had PhD from Oxford University, having achieved all the professional qualifications and achievement in the medicine here. And those were great physicians. Those were great physicians. It is important. It's for your good. Engagement of collaborative and translational research are important in improving health and management. Translational research involves chemists, biochemists, physiologists, anatomists, toxicologists, pharmacologists, engineers, and clinicians, and this should be promoted. It should be promoted. So, I will end up with this. All right? These are pictures of some of my former PhD students. Ajayi is currently in Brazil. He's an associate professor. This guy has gone, to Canada. He's a young man that I introduced. He's a young man that had the best PhD in biochemistry as supervised in 2018. I introduced him to Parkinson's disease and neuroscience, and he's in Canada now. This is from past PhD student. Now you have, this is associate professor also in Ajayi Crowder. He's a senior lecturer in Bedside University. This is on a sad note, one of my students, Professor Tijani. We lost her, about a few months ago. A professor in the University of Rwanda, very nice student. I'm not happy about that, and we lost her. And look at this. This is a J.K. Akikude, one of my students, a professor of biochemistry now. This is a Stephen Adefega, who just became a professor, here. This one is a sect. It's a classmate. Oh, is there? Okay. This one is a classmate, and this is the boy Bishop is, I think, associate professor in the State University. I think the boys are born with these women, they are in their husband's houses. I don't know where these women are. Maybe Adefega knows where they are. She's a fashion designer, in the Lagos. I don't know where these two, Ejiro, I don't know where these two are. And they were well trained. They had a good publication from them, but only the boys have done well. The two of them are professors now, and those girls, only God knows where they are. These are recent students, and this is a picture as a foundation fellow of Academy of Medicine Specialties of Nigeria with the Minister of Health. And I close with this. This is my wife. All right. MBBS, she's a consultant neurologist, MS in King's College London, and is a consultant neurologist and global health expert. Who has pursued academics and a professional achievement and has achieved all the I thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we should be all standing while the applause will continue. Thank you very much, sir. The applause will be better than that. Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Prof. Thank you. You can have it. And I think I now know better. I won't see FRSC next time. I think it belongs to safety. Thank you very much, sir. So, Prof, I would have said before you have your seat to give the award. And please, if you have questions, prepare your question. We are only giving room to 4 questions. So we'll say maybe 1 from here. This row is full. 2 from here. 1 from the 2 rows. Thank you very much, sir. As I call on the provost to be headed by the dean to give the award to our guest speaker for today.
The School of Biomedical Sciences, College of Health Sciences of the Federal University of Technology Akure present this to you, sir, the merit of award of recognition to you, Professor Farombi, plenary speaker at the first SBMS conference, sir, in deep appreciation of your thought-provoking keynote lecture and distinguished contributions to biomedical sciences and your wavering dedication to scientific excellence and mentorship. On this day, Thursday, 26th of June, 2025, congratulations, sir.
Congratulations, sir. Now to our question that will be moderated by the Provost. Do we have anyone on this row? Question from this row? Anybody? Nobody. Thank you. From this row, any question? Any question? One. Any other person? Thank you. Just one person. From the remaining two rows, do we have anybody? Question? Any question? One. Any other person? Thank you. Please let the two people come out.
Thank you very much, sir, for the presentation. I'm Oluwasope. I have my first degree in anatomy, and I actually love it, but now I'm in my second degree, my MSc in public health. Sometimes I find myself, whenever I want to write a research or any presentation, I find myself in anatomy. And another time I find myself in public health. Sir, how can I collaborate these two courses together as an anatomist and as a public health scientist? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. My name is Felix. I'm a fresh graduate of Department of Physiology, a proud Futerian. So my question here is, I'm a fresh graduate, and you mentioned collaboration, you mentioned research. So how can I, as a fresh graduate, start off my career? Because I'm a person that loves research. I love research. Anytime I hear anything research, there's these goosebumps that runs over my whole body. So I want to know the pathway to doing this. Thank you.
Once again, I would like to appreciate our keynote speaker. I'm sure you are going with me that Prof is a professor of professors. A round of applause once again, please. So, Professor, we've heard the question. Firstly, we have a student who is an anatomist and also into public health. She wants to advise on how to focus. Then, how can you advance it?
You are masters in the public health, or you are PhD.
Master, sir.
So what do you want to do after your master?
I'm trying to focus on epidemiology.
Epidemiology. Epidemiology. Well, it's a little bit clumsy. Anatomy now going to public health. Quite a number of people. If I ask you, why did you decide to go to public health?
I got a job.
You got a job. They employed you in a public health. Which university? in Ekiti as anatomist?
Yes, but I'm studying my MSc.
Okay, after your MSc, they gave you a job in there. Well, it then means that maybe you may want to continue with the public health. If that is what you want. You know, anatomy is a basic science. Anatomy is a basic science. And the moment you move to public health, you know, from the word public health, there's really not much of a basic science, you know, that you will find in a public health. You know, it's like another terrain. It's just that your knowledge of anatomy, you know, maybe can be useful if you are doing some kind of a research. But my advice to you will be, since you move to public health, take your PhD in public health and continue to do your work and research in the public health, if that is your focus and you've gotten a job there. Most times, when you have a first degree, it just gives you what I call university education. And people venture into some other things and diversifications, and they can move on. So it's a foundation, you know, for you, giving you university education and for you to actually write. So I advise you to continue with public health, and not that you finish masters in public, you now go and take a degree in another thing. That is where it will be difficult for you not to be able to get anything, you know, at the end of the day. Okay? And then number two, the young guy who just finished a first degree, and you are thinking of how to be involved in a research. Is a collaboration? What do you say you want? Research. Huh? Yeah, you cannot be talking of collaboration after the, to do research. What you need to do is that go and take your master's form. What's your first degree about? Physiology. Fantastic. If I were you, that's what you want to do, and you want to do research. Go and take MSc form in physiology and be trained in a good university. Have your master's in physiology, take a PhD in physiology, and continue to do research. All right? That is specialize in good area and follow all that I've told you today. Try and get a PhD in physiology, and don't sit back in Nigeria, but don't run away finally. Go and acquire, you know, further training, and you'll be distinguished and you'll be happy, you know, for yourself. That is how to start. You cannot really be talking of any form of research at your level, PhD. You need to be trained. Training first. And training is to take postgraduate degrees, masters and PhD. Don't even bother about papers. Don't even bother about publications at your level. All right? Publications will come. If I tell you my story about the publications, many of you will wonder. Do you know that for 7-8 years, I started as a lecturer, I did not have a single publication as a lecturer. My CV was 1 page. 1 page, I carried 1 page CV for 7 years. Personal information, name, state of origin, sex, Nigeria, nationality. Then after that, educational degree, BSc, MSc, you know, PhD in view, the references. 1 page. It came to a point that I was asking myself, maybe I was in the wrong profession. Because how come you don't have publication? And I see some of my colleagues in neighboring departments, they have a 3-4 publication. I did not even attend any conference. They've attended conferences, they published papers in African Journal of Medical Science, they published papers in Nigerian Journal of Physiology, they published papers, and I just were envied them, say, what is going on? They've attended conferences in Ilorin, in Abraka. For 7 years I did not. It was a period of training. There is a process in life. There is always the process of a training. And when I finished my PhD and I went to England, my first paper, you know, came out in 1997. And that paper was published in prestigious journal, Food and Chemical Toxicology in the United Kingdom. And from there, 1997, after the training, it was like, you know what, those who are published before, I met them, overtook them, and started teaching and training some of them how to do good. So I encourage young people, don't bother, don't be struggling for publications. Concentrate on training. Training is important. Be properly trained. Publications will come. Don't even bother about promotion. Promotion, what is in promotion? You want to be this or that. And so what? When you become professor, what does it mean to be a professor? And so what? The day I became professor, I asked myself, I said, so you're a professor, now what has changed? I had not turned to be light in complexion like this woman. I had not grown tall. I sit down and said, I remain dark. I had not grown tall. I said, so you're a professor. And so what has changed? I said, nothing has changed. I just said to myself, look, there is no big deal. Just be yourself and continue to work. There are several professors that are irrelevant, that are not relevant. And they are professors. And when you become professor like that, you will only end up with your salary. I've reached the peak of professorship bar. My salary has not changed since 2009 and 10. I've reached the bar, professorial bar. So how much is that? The salary they pay me does not last 2 weeks. That is if it's up to 2 weeks. But if you're a good professor and you are distinguished and sound, all right, money will be following you. And that is the truth. So don't bother about promotion, don't bother about money, don't bother about publication. Concentrate on good training. On good training. Be a good scientist. The rest will be history. You may suffer. Don't let me say may. You will. You will suffer at the beginning. That is the truth. I suffer. For those 7 years, I had only about 2 trousers and about 2 or 3 shirts and 1 sneakers. And 1 suit that I bought during convocation, undergraduate convocation. 1 suit for 7 years. I used to wear that suit if I want to receive an award and I'll go and hand. 1 suit for 7 years. So you can see that my generation was bad than yours. But today is from what? From story to glory, from zero to plenty, from 1 suit. If you get to my room in my house, you see about 3 wardrobes with a suit. I'm a suit person. I can't count the number of suits that I have as it is today. So don't bother about any of those things. Concentrate on training. When you are suffering, it's a process. But by the time you get, over that process, you will come out, all right, like a gold that has been purified in 5, 7 times.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay.
Prof, for the sake of the young ones here, I would like to just ask the question. Now we talked about traditional medicine from bedside to bedside. So what frameworks or models do you recommend for effectively translating clinical problems into basic science questions?
Clinical problems?
Yes, into basic science questions that could aid research in clinical sciences that can then be translated into clinical solutions.
Okay.
So it's like reverse, going backward now to get the solution.
Yes, I forgot. There are so many things to talk about this subject. I've given university lecture. It's not inaugural, a university lecture on the topic, like this. There is a reverse, but from clinic, then again it's like a cycle. It can be from the bench to the clinic, from the clinic to the bench, and then from the bench back to the clinic. You have that cycle. That is why you see in the middle, you have that person called the translational researcher. It's a person who understands the languages of what? Of a book. You understand the language of a basic scientist, you understand the language of what? Of a clinical scientist. In some countries like United States, they have a degree, master's degree and PhD in translational medicine. There are degrees. There are short-term programs. They are trained how to do that. And that is why I said that you have this advantage. For instance, somebody who has finished as MBBS now, rather than say you want to go and do O&G or go and do surgery or whatever to be cutting and be making money, you can go and enroll PhD in biochemistry or PhD in physiology. or a PhD, MSc PhD in anatomy, or MSc PhD in pharmacology. You already have MBBS. By the time you finish, your clinical background is important, and you can understand when the physician is talking. So when there is a problem in the hospital, all right, either a particular disease, and they are looking for solutions for alternative therapy, as somebody you can bring back to pharmacology department, and you can then risk at the end of the day, if the project is well funded, you can take it back to the clinic. So a translational researcher is usually somebody who has at least maybe a degree in the two zones. Who has a degree here, who has a degree there. So you understand the language. So you understand the reason why the basic scientist is not talking to clinical science where there is a value of death. And when he goes to the hospital, there are some boundaries that maybe a basic scientist may not be able to cross, that they may not listen to him. But being a doctor, when he gets to them, he says, this is a part of us, they open the door, and you are able to penetrate to them. And of course, when you come back again to the biomedical researcher, you are accepted, and you are able to navigate between the two techniques. And that is how you know to do. So it's an advantage, for anybody who has a degree in the two professions to be able to do that.
Thank you very much, Prof, for that clarification.
Thank you very much, sir. And from what Prof had said today, I think for people that are not here today thinking it is all about medicine, all about chemistry, I think such a fellow had missed. I took something from what he said, and one of it is, despise not the days of little beginning. We all have our little beginnings. So sometimes it might be rough, but definitely we'll get there. Prof had not always spoken on the topic for today. He has also played the role of a pastor, and I won't say a motivational speaker. A father, okay? Yes, and he has played the role of a father. So thank you very much, sir. You have done the work of the 3 persons today, and we are greatly encouraged. Thank you so much. Please another round of applause. And for the opening ceremony, I think we are gradually drawing the curtain as I bring up the Secretary of the LOC, Dr. Oritoke Okeowo, for the vote of thanks.
Again, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I'm sure that we all have enjoyed the keynote lecture. So we have all learned from you, sir, and we're very, very grateful. I'm also proud to be a UI alumni. Yes. Thank you very much, sir, for the time that you're taking to come up with this lecture and to enlighten us and to give us all that we really need, especially for a school like ours, who is one of the youngest, or part of the younger generation of basic medical sciences and the College of Medicine. I believe that we are going to do ours different and preparations for others coming up to learn how best to do or to relate between the basics and the clinicians. Thank you very much once again, sir. So thank you, everybody. Again, I'm here to say thank you, everyone, for being here, the acting provost, the dean, and for the LSC. Thank you, and for all the participants who have registered, and I hope that you have really enjoyed the opening ceremony. I hope that you'll enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you, everybody. And before we move on, please, the announcement is that because we are running very late, please, everyone can please, once we are running on this, I think we should take a picture or a group photograph for everybody. Then please, afterwards, you move into this hall and take out your meal ticket and take your food, and you come back from the outside back into the hall so that we can begin the first plenary lecture while we also eat at the same time. Thank you very much, everyone. So for the picture.
let's read it.